the view where people are like, Yeshua was a Pharisee, I just have so much trouble with because he seems to not be attacking certain things. He is attacking the entirety of their belief system. Um, have you ever encountered anyone with that kind of viewpoint?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at examples here, and I've encountered at least a few people who have asserted that he followed the oral Torah, he taught the oral Torah, he kept and obviously, at that time it would have just been oral according to their claims, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that Matthew 5 is spent rebuking all the sectarians, at least all the major sectarians that existed
Mhm.
at the time, which would be Pharisees, Sadducees, and the Essenes,
Yeah.
who taught that basically, oh, hate your enemy and love your fellow,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
hate your enemy and love your friend. That
Yeah.
was an Essene teaching because they were very, like, I guess, cultic in how they went about their human interactions,
Yeah.
particularly when there were people that they disliked and there were people who weren't part of the sect. They were wishing death on them
Mhm.
and hoping bad things for them. Whereas the people who were a part of their clan, they were hoping good things and wishing good things on them. So to relegate Yeshua HaMashiach to a sectarian is really, I would say, rather insulting
Yeah.
to, his identity and who he claimed to be, because he didn't claim to be a sectarian. He claimed to be a manifestation of Elohim, which is
Mhm.
a vastly different thing from being a sectarian. Like, I do believe that he's a divine manifestation who humbled himself, but I don't believe he humbled himself into a Jewish sect because he knew that in some way, shape, or form, they were all teaching something that was not in accordance with the law.
You can't teach against the authority of someone that is setting edict. Like it does, and then say that you're still part of that. Like it is contrary to the system itself. Like, for example, you can't be a Jehovah's Witness and teach against a watchtower. That doesn't make any sense. Like that part of their claim to authority is the authority that like, so if someone doesn't give them that authority, then you're out. That's, I think, the tale as old as time, and what we're seeing Yeshua battle against.
Well, yeah, they claim that Jesus was able to be part of the sect of the Pharisees somehow while having all these disagreements with the Pharisees. That doesn't make any sense. Given the amount of disagreements he had with the Pharisees, he would have been booted out from the sect. And that would also have been notable enough, I would assume, to include as part of the narrative in the New Testament, but it wasn't. And they'll point to a verse that I would say is, I don't know how to describe it, but it's not a verse that is saying that he was part of the sect, but it's a verse that's usually stretched, like, oh, it says, oh, he's one from among them. Like, that's a verse that's typically used to say, yeah, he was
Mhm.
definitely one of them. um, but I don't think it means that in the sense of he's one from among them as a sectarian, but rather that he's one from among them as in from Judah,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's a
Mhm.
whole different way of looking at things.
Yeah, he came to his own probably, and his own did not receive him, and even and he's clearly talking about the concept of people, right? His own people, and they didn't receive him, and they rejected him because they'd rather they chose darkness over light. John chapter 1. Um, yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me, and so I find that super problematic. Um, especially, you cannot reject. I mean, okay, he was more than anything attacking their authority to even give these edicts. Not just saying, hey, we should keep this edict a certain different way. He's just saying, do you even have the authority? He's saying by your edicts, you're undermining the law of God, right? In Mark chapter 7. It's not just a simple, I want the church carpet to be this color and you want the church carpet to be the other color. It's not that at all. It's like he's attacking the foundation of their leadership.
Yeah, that's the problem is Matthew 16, he says that that leaven is representative of the doctrine of the Pharisees and the Sadducees.
Yeah.
So if the doctrine of the Pharisees is leaven, why would he be a sectarian? Like, why would he be part of a sect that he completely disagrees with doctrinally? That doesn't make any sense.
That
Like you
yeah, good
said,
point.
why would you be a Jehovah's Witness and disagree with Watchtower or the Watchtower? Why would you be a Mormon and disagree with the LDS doctrine? Why would you be a Catholic and disagree with the Pope? Why
Yeah,
would you be, you know, it just none of it like actually makes any sense in all practicality, right? Like with all these different groups. Why would you be part of the Worldwide Church of God when you disagree with Herbert Armstrong? That doesn't
yeah,
even make any sense.
yeah, yeah. No, I completely agree.
And I
And
mean on a fundamental level, not just like what you were saying, like just on a fundamental level, like their core doctrine.
yeah, I mean, you're right. The whole point of him saying, beware of the doctrine of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, right? He didn't say beware of some of them. He said all of it, right? Matthew 23 is riddled with that. Matthew, the one that people will use to defend Phariseeism amongst Torah observant people. They'll say, because the Pharisees sit on the seat of Moses, therefore whatever they bid you to do, that observe and do, but do not do after their works. It's like, yeah, read the chapter, read the rest of the verses in the chapter, and according to Yeshua himself, he's saying that if you follow them, they will lead you to become twice the child of hell. I don't think that's what he's saying. He's not saying to obey the Pharisees in that chapter.
No, he's not. Well, how would he be when he says they make people twice the children of hell? So by that logic, because they do say Matthew 23:1 is Jesus saying you got to obey all the oral laws of the Pharisees. If that's the case, then Jesus is basically saying you need to obey if that's the case, then by logical extrapolation of the 2 points, right? So I'm gonna make a deductive statement. Okay, so I can deduce from this idea, let's just say that Jesus teaches us to obey the Pharisees, and that the Pharisees are leading people directly to hell. That Jesus is leading people directly to hell.